Meetings, meetings, meetings. I hate them. I avoid. But meetings, like me, I can't avoid. If this is exactly how you think about meetings, then in this video, I'm going to be sharing some really cool productive tips on how do you conduct and run some really cool and productive meetings. Stay tuned. All right, so thank you again for tuning in. Welcome to Enriching Beliefs. This is Karthik. So even before you understand how do you conduct or run productive meetings, let us understand why meetings fail. All right, I've just listed down 8 points here, and you probably will be able to relate to why some of your meetings or some of the meetings that you attended failed. Okay, so the first one is the organizer need not be the solution provider. Have you been to multiple or many meetings where whoever has organized the meeting thinks that he or she has to constantly give the solution for all the problems that is out there, and the only his or her opinion is heard in the room? Yeah, if you know, let me know in the chat box. uh, it I'm not trying to say that that person is bad, but maybe the person does not know how to conduct productive meetings. Okay, that might be the first one of the reasons. The second one might be you need to really learn how to facilitate. As an organizer of a meeting, you need not have to run meetings. If you facilitate, the running part of the meeting will take care of its own. Okay, this is one of the other big reasons why I see meetings failing. Third one being, uh, there are so many who think that longer the meetings it's going to be productive, but it's actually the longer the meeting, the more counterproductive it is going to become. Okay, there's a third point, and fourth point is uh, not thinking of meetings as distractions. So I want you to start thinking of meetings as distraction from, or distraction that is avoiding you from doing what is actually important. Okay, so it's not about always constantly setting up meeting. It's about having this thought process that okay, probably so many meetings are preventing me from doing or being my productive best. Point number 4. Point number 5 is conducting meetings just because it is scheduled. Have you been to meetings where okay, it's there, you just hopped in just because it was on your calendar? Yeah, have you done this? So if you have done this, just let me know, done that in the chat box, because I've done that. All right, until I realized that it's not about just hopping onto one meeting after the other. It's about understanding all the other factors as well. Sixth one being not having the right participants. If you do not have right participants, how are you going to get the right results? The outcome is definitely not going to be right. Seventh one is participants not well prepared. It's the ownership is definitely on the participants, and it's important that the organizer sets this context that participants be well prepared. Otherwise, it's going to fail. Not having energetic thinkers but drained co-workers. Have you been to uh, those zombie meetings where uh, people are just there, present, probably physically on their phone, just talking to someone, or just chit chatting and not focusing on the actual outcome of the meeting? Yeah, if you know what I'm talking about, put in the chat box zombie in the chat box. Yeah. So as an organizer, you have to really make sure that you're not getting, or people are not getting into that zombie kind of meetings. All right, these are some of the reasons why meetings might be failing. All right, so now let's get on to the real core of this video, which is about conducting or running productive meetings. And even before I start talking about what is the structure, what are the things that you have to follow, what are the checklist, I want you to start thinking about the existing set of meetings that you have on your calendar and put it through these 3 Ds. Okay, are you ready for it? So the 3 Ds that you have to follow, I call it the 3D principle. So the 3 Ds that you have to follow here are decline, delegate, and delete. Look at your calendar. whatever is already there. And please start using that red cross button on every meeting. People think that declining meeting is not the right way, and they just keep going to one meeting after that. But if you think you cannot add value to that meeting, or that meeting is not going to add value to you, please decline meeting instead of just creating one more unproductive meeting for yourself. All right. And then delegate whichever you think, maybe some of your co-workers can add or can solve the problem faster than you. Please delegate. As I said, it's about facilitation. It's not about you being the problem solver all the time. You can also act as a facilitator, delegate things so that the right people are there, and the outcome is much faster and better. Delete. So if you see there are lots of meetings just lying there and it never happens, so please delete and just get rid of all those things. Okay, so even before, this is one of the easy ways to becoming productive. So I was listening to one podcast, and one of the questions that was asked to a minimalist was this: how do you clean the clutter? Okay, how do you clean the clutter that happens in your house? And the answer he said is by not bringing it in the first place. Yeah, if that was a cool bulb on moment for you, just let me know in the chat box. So it's not about conducting meetings. In fact, it's about following these 3D principles. Okay, if you really like this, let me know in the chat box, or even like this video, subscribe to this if you want to know all this more such tips on becoming productive. Okay, now let's see this. Okay, so now that we have understood the importance of this, the 3D principle, let's understand how can you prepare in the best way possible before conducting any meetings. So here I've just laid out few points here. So even before you start thinking about what kind of information you have to gather, what are the other things, data points that you need to know, I want you to start thinking about how do you intend to show up for this meeting that probably you have organized or someone else has organized. How do you intend to show up for this meeting? I want you to pause this video, just check out your calendar, your work calendar. Look at the very next meeting that's scheduled for you, and then ask this thing, or in fact, describe in 3 words how do you intend to show up for that meeting. It can be show up prepared, show up alive, be highly productive, be very communicative. It can be anything that comes to your mind. So just put in the chat box. If you have looked at the next upcoming meeting on your calendar, how do you intend to show up to that meeting? A lot of it is about setting that intention, and then all these principles and other factors play a bigger role. All right. So the first thing, how do you intend to show up? And once you got this right, the next one is about communicating agenda clearly. If you are the organizer, and if someone else is the organizer, and if they have not communicated the agenda clearly, it is on you to know what is the meeting about. All right, so here let's see what's coming up here. The first one is why did you set up the meeting? You as an organizer, why are you setting this meeting up? Do you know what's the end goal? What is the expected outcome of this meeting? Okay, what topics are a must for discussion, and what are optional topics for discussion? Have you seen any meeting where the participants just way away from what is actually the most important thing, and they discuss everything else, then figure out that the time is up when it comes to discussing the important one? So it's on you to facilitate it in the right way. All right, the fourth one being ask participants to accept or decline meetings every time they get a request. Okay, so you can set this rule. Unfortunately, the tool set the rule that if you do not accept it, it's in a tentative state. But let's say it forces people to in an accepted state. If they do not respond, then what, right? So you have to start building up this culture, even from your end, if you're a leader, or from a team's perspective, that they have to start accepting or declining every meetings. All right, and if you constantly start declining meetings that where that you will not add value, or which will not add value to you, you will not get those meeting requests. You will save so much more time in the long run. Yeah, if this was a cool tip, just let me know in the comment box or give me a like. All right. So this is the second one. And third one is check availability of members. And here there are important things. Check physical availability of members. Will they be able to make it to the meeting, all those mandatory members, and even mental availability of members. If it's a very important discussion and if the outcome is going to be very crucial, then are participants getting into back-to-back meetings so that they do not have the energy to contribute in the best possible way while you conduct your meetings? You have to ask these questions and make sure they're in the best, at least in the right mental state. Give them a break. Let's say even if you're conducting a long meeting and it's going to run for 2 hours and all, every 45 minutes maybe you encourage people to take a break, even if they don't want to. Ask them to stand up, ask them to walk around, uh, change their state of mind for a moment and ask them to come back. That will really increase the productivity, the personal productivity, and also the combined productivity of that meeting. All right, if you got this points, uh, just let me know. Drop me some comment in the comment box. So these are ways to prepare. All right. So the fourth one is create distraction-free meetings. As I said, if a meeting is going to be really crucial and there are going to be some very critical discussions and decisions that needs to be made, you can propose this and say that this is a distraction free meeting. By that, what I mean is your distraction due to unwanted participants. So you make sure that the right participants are only attending. Distraction due to gadgets and all that. You might still get your office laptop, but all the emails that keeps popping up, that's a big distraction. Can you avoid that? Can you ask participants to avoid all these things? Create a no gadget meeting for super important meetings, as I just mentioned. Okay, this is the first phase where you start preparing for a meeting. It's not just about gathering enough or lot of data and all that, but you have to also go through all these phases, all these steps. So let's say now we have prepared well for the meeting. So what next? Now we have to start scheduling the meetings. All right, so for scheduling meetings, you can think of, or you can look at, there are various types of meeting that you might have to schedule. First one might be this discussion on a new topic or a new idea generation kind of a thing. So what are the things that you have to keep in mind? Participants needed, duration of the meeting, what is the ideal way to close this meeting? I just want to talk about give a pointer towards the on the duration of the meeting. So when you create meeting, it will by default give you, let's say, 30 minutes or 1 hour slot for any meeting that you create, right? The or most of the popular tools, but it need not be so much, right? If you think that the meeting can be completed in 15 minutes, please create a 15-minute meeting slot. No one is forcing you to stick to the default duration that the tool sets for you. Okay, so set the meeting duration right. That's a very important point while creating meetings. So this is one type of meeting that you might come across. Another one might be follow up on previous discussion, right? So something has happened, but you want to follow up on that. Things you have to take care of. Who are the right participants? Duration of the meeting again. What is the ideal way of closing this meeting? Because it's a follow up meeting and you don't want to keep following up. So what is the outcome you are expecting? If you have that clear in your mind as an organizer, you will be able to set the context in a much powerful way. All right. This can be second type of meeting. Third one might be a decision making kind of a meeting where what you do is you have to check as an organizer, is the person who's expected to make the decision available, yes or no, physically and no, even mentally. Is the person going to be available? Second one is, are all dependencies to make the decision resolved? You cannot get into that decision making meeting and then start talking again about all the dependencies that are involved. Can you make sure that the participants come well prepared, resolve all the dependencies, and just come so that we can make the decision and get out of the meeting? Yeah, this is something you can take care of as an organizer. And the third one is, if the decision is not made for whatever reason, as per expectations, will follow-ups be needed? Then you have to again check back on the list of participants, the duration, and all the other things. Okay, this can be third type of meeting you may have to conduct. And fourth one might be SOS or a war zone or war room kind of a meeting, where again you have to see participants needed, duration of meeting, what qualifies for closure of meeting. Let me add another thing called uh, hardware and other requirements and any logistics kind of things, because some war room meetings can go on for a week, 2 weeks, or even 1 month, depending on what's the closure agenda and all that. All right, so check on these things, and mostly you might be conducting a discussion, follow up, or decision kind of a meeting, so you can make use of these as your checklist. Okay, if you got this, if you want the checklist, just let me know in the comment box so that I will create it and attach it later on to this video. All right, so these are the types of meetings that you might be scheduling. So now you have the right frame of mind, you've prepared well for the meeting, and you have scheduled the meeting. Let's see what's coming up next. All right, so now what's next? You've scheduled it, and now you have to go and conduct the meeting. So let's see what is under this. Make sure to get opinion from all participants. As I said, you are there to facilitate as an organizer of the meeting. You are not there to only give all your opinions and solutions. You are there because you want people there because you want to take opinions from them, right? So make sure you get all the opinions. Make sure even if someone is hesitant, make them comfortable so that they share their points across. That's the first thing. Second one is about ask questions so that people start thinking, like, what do you think can make this idea fail? Or has anyone else in this organization or in our team worked on this kind of a solution, or have encountered this problem and have addressed that in the past, so that you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You can save the time for yourself and for your team, and you can keep moving forward. Okay, third one can be, think of meeting as opportunity to mastermind. I was listening or reading about masterminds, where I got to know that, a mastermind where people come together and start discussing, that creates one more extra brain, one more super brain, in fact. All right, so think of meetings as an opportunity to mastermind, solve problems faster and in a more efficient manner. Fourth one is about close meetings by reviewing action items that each and every member is expected to take, and by what time they're going to complete all those actions. Okay, and if there is someone who need not have to take any action, you can probably also mention that very clearly. Okay, so this is how, if you look at all these points and start implementing that, you'll naturally see the meeting productivity increasing over time. And in fact, immediately as you start implementing these things. So now that you have conducted the meetings, I just want to share some checklist which I've already seen, but putting all these things in one place. 8-point checklist. And if you're liking this, and if you want more such videos on productivity, make sure that you subscribe and like this video, so that you get all those things immediately as soon as I publish them in the future. All right, so with that checklist, check mandatory participant list, ask members to RSVP, accept or decline. All right, mention optional participants explicitly. Even in the body of the meeting, you can say optional participants, so that other people are very much aware of what is happening, or who are going to be the mandatory participants. Mention subject of meeting clearly, clear agenda to be mentioned. What is it that you intend to accomplish, and what are the dependencies that you want people to solve before coming in? Link to join. So we are all in the hybrid kind of a setup now, so make sure that all the joining links are available and are working fine. Sixth one, backup meeting slides or documents in cloud. If you're going to have a very important critical meetings, you can have one copy on your laptop, one more on the cloud, or even with one or more of your colleagues. All right. Seventh one, keep meeting duration short and crisp. It's not always about conducting long and boring meetings. Make meetings interesting. Maybe play some music before the meeting starts. Try out these things, because music has a way to really energize the whole environment up, and that will really improve the creativity and productivity of the meetings. Just try this out and let me know. All right, if meeting is expected to run long, allow break times in between. Typically Anything going beyond 45 minutes, give yourself and the participants a 10-minute break. Let them re-energize, recollect their thoughts and ideas, and then come back. And eighth one is send out action items and due date clearly to participants while closing the meeting so that you don't have to create more and more follow-up meetings. All right, if you think this is going to really help you create effective and productive meetings and save you a lot of time, not just for yourself, but for the whole group, leave me a comment and let me know I liked it. All right, I'm sure this added a lot of value. Subscribe to this channel, check out all the videos where I'll be talking about productivity, increasing your leadership potential, building your personal brand and stuff. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being till this moment and watching this, and I hope you've taken a lot of notes and taken away lots of ideas that you're going to be implementing soon. And I look forward to you conducting some super cool, impressive, and productive meetings. Talk to you later.